But right now, we're going to be joined in just a few minutes by Emma Vigland. But right now, we are joined by David Feldman, who, like Joe Rogan, is a comedian who does a podcast where he talks about politics. In fact, they're basically the same person, as far as I can tell. So welcome to the show, David.
Thank you. And Dave Rubin is also a comedian. And he for the first time in my life watching Dave Rubin, I'm actually ashamed to call myself a moron. Is there chicken protective services? I can't trust Dave Rubin with chickens. That's scary. The idea of him raising chickens.
Yeah. So you and Joe Rogan and Dave Rubin are basically all the same person, because you're all people with a background in comedy who do podcasts where they talk about politics.
And we're all geniuses, comedians. Yeah. We're the canaries in the coal mine. We're just the smartest people out there. We are effed. If people think that you should get your news and your philosophy from comedians, well, this is why we ended up the way we are. We give way too much respect to comedians. I think the thing with Rogan, the idea that, okay, he'll interview Donald Trump. And the great thing about Joe is he gives his guests enough rope to hang themselves, as we just saw. The problem is we've already given Donald Trump enough rope to hang the entire country, which in fact is happening. We know. The only way Trump can hurt himself as a candidate is to say something lucid and clear-headed. So,
yeah, because it'd be bad for the brand.
It would be bad for the brand. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think some of his advisors might have been nervous last night. We're recording this on a Saturday. Most people aren't going to see it until Monday. But Ruth Bader Ginsburg passed away last night, and Trump's initial reaction to it was like a politician's reaction. It was like, oh, that's terribly sad. And,
right.
That just, I just have to imagine. It's like, you remember Bulworth?
Sure. Warren Beatty, Halle Berry.
Yeah. I mean, like in a lot of ways, Trump is Republican Bulworth, that he is this like entertaining figure who goes way off script and does things that should be political suicide, but somehow they have the opposite effect. Right. And there's a scene, I'm going to spoil a movie from decades ago, but there's a scene at the end of Bulworth where Bulworth, is sort of calmed down at the end of the movie, and he goes out to do a press conference. He's wearing a suit, and his advisor's like, "What are you doing? Right? Why are you wearing a suit? This isn't how you got elected, right? You're off brand, you're off script." And so I have to imagine, that like a good Trump advisor would have the same reaction, that you should be ranting about how Ruth Bader Ginsburg, was really part of Antifa, and she had the Chinese virus, what is this, like, just sort of respectfully noting her passing.
I'm sorry, did you say something? I was thinking about Halle Berry. Did you? Sure. I didn't hear a word you said. I dated her sister, Dingle. Very hard to get rid of.
This is golden material. This is amazing.
I dumped Dingle, and she just would, anyway. Yeah. I'm very optimistic about the future. I am. And Ruth Bader Ginsburg, great Supreme Court justice. And I would like to say that considering what women get paid compared to men, she should be placed on the $73 bill.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. No, this is good stuff. This is like,
thank you.
You should have a little gong behind you for like after you finish these jokes.
These aren't jokes. These are observations. I'm very...
It's very serious political commentary. Yeah?
Very, very. Did I lose you on the Dingle? Are you jealous that I dated her sister? They're saying that Ted Cruz might replace Ginsburg. Have you heard that?
Yeah, I mean, see, that would be on brand, right? Like that would be about perfect. Like Ted Cruz is pretty good. Like what would be really good is like Jared.
Right.
Like Jared could be on the Supreme Court. That sounds about right.
But Ted Cruz, I think you could fast track Ted Cruz to the Supreme Court. I think McConnell could get Republicans and Democrats on both sides of the aisle to fast track him to the Supreme Court because they all want to get him out of the Senate. Anything to get Ted Cruz out of the Senate. He is the most disliked man in Washington. So I think he could actually be on the Supreme Court before November 3rd.
Yeah, I mean, look. In all seriousness, I think that whether Ted Cruz, I mean, I'm sure that Trump's, going to pick some well-groomed Federalist Society ghoul, who's been training for this for their entire
with a
life.
Rape record. Hopefully, he'll have a rape record.
Sure, I mean that's pretty standard at this point.
Got to stay on brand.
That's right. Yeah. That somebody who was part of the Brett Kavanaugh's group, and that he went out to rent vacation cottages with, and throw up all over them and lose the money that they'd spent on the deposit, right? And has since then devoted his life in some suburb where he's been carefully cultivated in Northern Virginia for decades. The Bourne Identity, right? That you spend your entire life preparing for this moment so that you can get in there and you can destroy what's left of collective bargaining in American workplaces, and destroy the ability of the regulatory state to protect the environment, and all the other stuff that makes these people tick, makes them get up in the morning. But I have an incredibly hard time imagining that there's anything that Chuck Schumer will, or even particularly wants to try to do to stop this. I mean, I'd love to be surprised by that, but maybe not by November 3rd, but you don't have to get in by if there are going to be months of challenges to the outcome of the election, you don't have to get in by November 3rd.
Good times.
Yeah.
Good times. Lots to look. I think one day we're all going to look back at this and have a good long cough. I think it's not as bad as, I don't think it's as bad as it seems. I think we're just too deep into it. I'm very optimistic.
All right. Good stuff.